Check, check, check. Morning, everybody. How you doing? Welcome from my messy, messy office. It's been a blur because ITG is next week, and we're so excited to actually be back at the ITG show. It's the first show we've had at ITG since 2019. I think that was in Miami. We're really excited to come back to San Antonio. We have so much stuff we're prepping and getting ready. So thanks again for taking a few moments here. This video was primarily going to be used as an archive to put on the Custom Reserve page, but I thought it would be nice to share this information with everybody just if you have questions or comments about this new mouthpiece line. And we are so excited about this mouthpiece line because I'm going to show you right now. This isn't going to be a super hi-fi setup. Hopefully you can hear me okay. I'm going to show you, like I've been playing, yesterday I had a recording session with the Kansas City Jazz Orchestra. I'm back in the studio today and Thursday as well with them. And I used a new mouthpiece. And that's not that shocking for me, but what the shocking result was is the fact that I used this one mouthpiece, which I'm going to show you right now. This is the L3 Plus. It's the all new design that Kyle Lambert, our shop manager, inspired. And I'm going to see if I can get it a little closer and zoom in for you. Check this out. So this is the L3 Plus, and it's actually a pretty shallow mouthpiece. The shallowest mouthpiece we make in the line. And the coolest thing about this is the versatility in the sound. So like I said, this isn't our high-end ribbon setup because that's at my home studio, but it's a decent mic, and I will play a little bit now for you. The crazy thing about this mouthpiece line, and it works on throughout the gamut, is one thing that we've been sort of stumbling on over the past few years as we've redesigned a lot of our mouthpieces in our standard line. Were a couple things about how we shaped a lot of the inner dimensions of the mouthpiece to increase great efficiency. And while we're not going to give you all of our secrets away, we'll tell you a lot of the things that we have done differently. First and foremost is this blank, and people have said, well, it's just a modern blank, right? I saw one of our customers posted on Reddit about our mouthpiece line. Well, here's our modern blank, which is still really great. This is our TA2, and I have a comparable customer reserve, TA2, right here. This is the modern blank, and you can see there's a lot of mass on this rim right here. There's a lot of mass, and there's a lot of mass throughout. So if you look at the TA2 versus the standard, or the custom reserve blank, see there's the custom reserve blank, and here's the TA2. There's totally different mass proportions, especially around the rim. One of our customers actually inspired this blank. We've been using it in our cornet mouthpieces for some time, and we've decided to put it in this new custom reserve line. The custom reserve line only comes in this blank because of what we're doing with the throat proportions and what we're doing with throat proportions and backbores and lengths and everything. We want to make sure that there's a uniformity to this. And we tried it in all of our blanks actually on our prototyping, and this was the best blank. Again, if you have questions about the custom reserve, just pop them in here, and either myself or Josh will answer them. The custom reserve is only available in gold plate. We have had a couple orders for silver plated models. You can email us at mouthpiece sales at info@austinCustomBrass.com if you have a request for silver. It doesn't change the price that much, unfortunately. We can't do these in acrylic just yet. I've tried an acrylic rim. It doesn't work. So you'll see my chops get red. I have allergies to silver and gold, but the Custom Reserve is going to be in gold plate. Again, some of the things we stumbled, like there was a great mouthpiece that we copied from Roy Eldridge. Now that mouthpiece rim and cup, really weird, super weird, but they had a very interesting way it transferred from the cup into the throat. And it's not a double cup. Like if you look at Perduba and all those earlier versions of double cup setups, you'll see them having a very pronounced, very shallow first cup and then a deeper second cup. And it's not that. But we started screwing around in the CAD system with how can we create a throat that replicates that double cup nature without actually having to get to that really huge secondary cup. So there's a little bit of that vibe in the Custom Reserve. There's a lot of stuff that I will not share because it's proprietary. But one of the things that you'll see, like, and again, I'm going to zoom in on this L3 Plus, and I'm going to play it again for you. Pete Carroll, thanks for chiming in. Hope your TA Plus is working out great. I used the L3 Plus on my entire recording session yesterday with the KCJO, playing second trumpet and just playing parts. And it was so efficient. Great register sound on all registers. So again, this is the L3 Plus. There's nothing in our current line that is like this. So let me get a little closer so you can see some of the proportions of that mouthpiece. I'll see if I can even get it even without it. So you can see there's a really dramatic entrance into the throat right there. You'll see it. And it's a large throat, but it's not overly large. That's probably, in the difference of all of our standard series and our Custom Reserve, that's probably one of the biggest differences. And it's not the same throat entrance on every one of them. Every one of them has been coded and tested to make sure that it's the most efficient without losing the characteristic of the sound. So I'll give you a little display on the L3 Plus again. If you're just tuning in, this is mostly just a chit-chat about the Custom Reserve, and then later I'm going to talk about some tips on how to properly acclimate to these new mouthpieces, because it took me, and I have a weird, freaky ability to switch mouthpieces no matter what, to play like a 1C and then play a Schilke 6A 4A, and it's not a huge issue for me, but actually on the Custom Reserve, it did take me a couple weeks to really find the sweet spot of them. Okay, so here's another lo-fi clip of the L3 Plus. This is the thing that really freaks me out and freaks our customers out, is that the amazing versatility in the sound shape of having like something. This is the smallest mouthpiece we make in the Custom Reserve line. Check it out. That's the thing. It's the scary thing, how it can have such incredible versatility from second to second, where if you want it to really go, and you could do that on other mouthpieces. I'm just demonstrating on the L3 Plus because one of the things that I really dislike with most commercial brand mouthpieces, and we've really strived hard at this with our commercial stuff, is that it lacks the depth of sound, the width of sound. It's very much straightforward. And a lot of people, maybe if you're recording on a mic, that's really great as well. But we wanted more, you just wanted to have more versatility and more of a diverse sound palette. And we can't do this with our normal tooling. So the Custom Reserve is on all new backbore tooling as well. And there's a few different backbores we use in the Custom Reserve line, but they're not changeable. So each model has its own distinctive backbore profile. That's why we can't really do the things like we do on our standard series, which is like all these different variations. And we're not also going to do it in a throat and backbore combo because that would destroy part of what our parameter specs are, and it's a very different throat entirely in all of our Custom Reserve lines. Not only the size, the length, and the transition into the backbore. So I wanted to show you though on a larger mouthpiece that diversity as well. So this is the 2 Plus. The 2 Plus is based on our Mount Vernon 3C, and that's the 2 Plus. Let me give you a side-by-side perspective here. So there's the L3. Oh no, there's the L3. There's the 2. So this is around our MV3C effect. It's actually a little bit deeper than our MV3C in the new Custom Reserve. But here's the diversity of the sound palette in this mouthpiece. Really amazing. So you get a huge, in all of the mouthpiece lines, you get a huge variance in terms of like the brightness versus the darkness versus the width that you can make with the Custom Reserve. Again, I'm not saying that our standard series line is different. So here is a TA2 in Modern Blank. Here's a TA2 in Modern Blank. And just to let you know, this is the trumpet that we're going to take a new project with soon. This is basically an A4LT with an A2 bell. Stay tuned for that project. That's going to launch later on the end of summer probably. And it has an adjustable receiver, so I've gapped it to be about 0.116 with our ACB mouthpieces. So here's a TA2, and I'm going to play the TA2 Modern Blank, and then I'll play the 2D Plus, which is the Custom Reserve equivalent. I'll do the same thing. I'll play Charlie A2 for you, and then I'll play on each mouthpiece, and then I will also play just a little pop excerpt. Okay? Here we go. Again, if you have questions about this, post them in my comments. And like I said, we're going to talk about some ways we can properly acclimate to this new line. So here's the Modern Blank TA2. Charlie A2. D plus, which is the sorry, I'll get a little closer. 2D plus is the equivalent to our TA2. I don't know if you hear a difference. I feel a tremendous difference. I also hear a bigger difference in the room. This is a small room. This is my office here at the shop here in Kansas City. And I feel and hear a big difference in the room, especially in terms of the width of the sound. It's much wider and more vibrant on the Custom Reserve. I'm not saying that the Standard Series line is obsolete. I don't believe in that. I think actually these require a certain amount of maturity in the player to really gravitate and navigate, maybe that's a better word, sorry, these subtle differences between the Standard Series and Custom Reserve. So if you're thinking about our mouthpieces, you could always order a equivalent in the standard line and then order Custom Reserve to see the differences on your own. We've had a couple people come into the shop and they go, actually, I like the standard, which is great. There's no magic mouthpiece. There's no magic mouthpiece that will work perfectly for every player. That's why there's a multitude of great manufacturers out there that are making great things. But one of the big passions I've always had, being someone who's well, I'm not a day-to-day machinist anymore. I fool around on my little hobby lathe and hand make mouthpieces from time to time. And I did have a CNC in my Boston shop. I don't want to be behind a CNC all day. I play. I feel like the value that I have with my shop and how I work with all of you out there is more on a personal relationship level in terms of like, I've been in the trenches and I know what a lot of you are experiencing. So there's a lot of great manufacturers out there. Hopefully we're one of them. And we're really thankful for all the support that you all give us, of course. Again, questions that you have, you can post in the comments. If I missed your questions, let me know, because this is I think it's just 2 channels today. Yeah, just 2 channels today. But let me play something poppy now on this. I'll play a little bit of a Michael Jackson thing that I play on a lot of my videos, and I'll start with the ACB TA2 Modern blank. Again, my lips get red because I'm allergic to silver and gold, and right now I can't make an acrylic equivalent in the Custom Reserve. I can't do what I want to do to replicate the sound shape. So we're going to be working on that over the next few months. Hopefully we can figure that out. But here you go, TA2, and I'll change the mic level. Operator error. 2D plus, 2D plus. Well, I did the same. I had the same missed note on both times. TA2. Again, a huge difference between the 2 sound shapes. It's quite dramatic of the 2. So let's talk a little bit about the ways we can acclimate to the new Custom Reserve line. First and foremost, spend some time with the tuner. Make sure that you're playing in the center of your sound. You might have to initially pull your tuning slide out just a smidge, and you can see actually on this horn, this has now become my primary trumpet that I play day to day because of the project we're working on with Adams. But normally it's a tuning bell too, so I tune a little bit here and then I tune like to right about there. But you can actually see that's where I've been playing the past week or so. So I've pushed my slide out a little bit just to help with the changes in pitch. Anytime you open up a throat, and yes, the throats on all of these Custom Reserves are more open than their standard equivalents. We think of Bach trumpet mouthpieces, for instance, being 27 being the uniform standard, and that's where every mouthpiece should be. But do understand that the earliest Bach mouthpieces that Vincent made, that was how he got his start, is he bought himself a $300 foot-operated lathe to start making custom mouthpieces. I think Holton supplied his early blanks. He would provide with customers, when they bought a mouthpiece, a pin reamer, a jeweler's pin reamer, so that they could open up their mouthpiece to make it work for them. So 27, we think of this as being some sort of uniform standard, but it really isn't. There are people who thrive on smaller throated mouthpieces. Like for instance, Marcinkiewicz mouthpieces, great mouthpieces. They use a 28 throat, and it's a very straight drill. And a long throat before it goes to the transition to the backbore. We don't like that in our line because it feels like it channels too much energy to go one way, and it doesn't give you the diversity of sound that you need. So we have devised many different ways on how we do that. You probably have questions, comments. Please post them in the area. So I'm going to actually use this L3 Plus, and I'll talk about some of the things that I do to acclimate to the mouthpieces. First and foremost, bends. And I have lots of videos on my mini lesson series about bends, but to really get into the sound and feel of a mouthpiece, where the efficiency walls are, we'll say, in any mouthpiece is going to have a certain amount of restriction and efficiency. What you want to do is make sure you can navigate that so restriction doesn't be too far in terms of the constriction. Do some things like this. And after a while, there's a lot of bending exercises. In Flexus, they have a great thing on false fingering a half step higher bends. This will really help a tremendous amount with the Custom Reserve because you're going to play high on the pitch. You're going to push it the way you want to push your old mouthpiece. This mouthpiece is way more efficient. And even in our line, if you can get into the efficiency of the Custom Reserve, let it do the work. Why work? Gosh, I don't like working. Oh, wait, I'm at work. But I digress. So some of the things in Laurie Frink and John McNeil's book Flexus are things like this. You finger, and then you finger a half step higher. You're trying to get the embouchure to adjust to the efficiency. I like doing also upward bends. I don't know really, I mean, there's a big debate on things like this, but doing things like where you're almost like pretending you're a Baroque trumpet. I'll show you on a C scale. And even on that, hold on. Even on that, if I give you that on the 2 plus, because I've been playing the 2 plus a lot more because this was a prototype that I quickly silver plated over at my electroplating setup here. I can do that a lot better on this mouthpiece. Hold on. That's actually easier on the TA2. You see how and I'm not exaggerating that. I'm not into that sort of thing. That actually is easier on the TA2 because these centers on the Custom Reserve are very different than our standard series. But I think even as I'm acclimating through this, I'm still learning, but I feel the end result is this humongously more versatile sound palette, and it feels so open. That's why we underline the O, by the way. I'll show you, see if I can show you. Well, actually, I can show you easier by, hold on a second. I have to pull up a file here because I show you there. I'll take it over, put it in front of my face. It's better. Um, there we go. I wish I could. There we go. How's that? No, you can see the O's underlined. That's my biggest thing. This is the O right there. That's weird to do on this. Is underlined. It signifies the openness of these things. Now, articulation is also very different on the Custom Reserve. So you're going to want to really focus on light, crisp, almost like you're not tonguing it all initially. Let me show you on the L3 Plus. Now remember, this is the smallest mouthpiece that we make on the Custom Reserve. I chose this one in particular to show you that there's so much versatility in this line. You won't believe that you're playing a commercial mouthpiece. Check this out. What you're doing, let me turn my mic back up. What you're doing is trying to find where the note wants to start, and that's where you start thinking about where your end efficient or your start efficiency, is going to be versus trying to drive a car that has a 5-gear manual transmission. You're driving the car in 3rd gear, but you have 4th gear and 5th gear to lower your RPMs, increase your economy, and not strain your engine. It's the same thing on these mouthpieces. We don't have to push them to the point where we're really going overboard. We want them to be as efficient. Let them do the work versus us doing the work. I don't know if that makes sense, but part of why I'm doing this video is that you can come back to this in the future and refer to these things. So then when you're doing a little bit more crisper, just do separate staccato entrances. Check this out. Where you're really just pushing the note. And like I said, I can't probably pick up my TA2 and play a double C one-handed just picking it off. That's a big issue I have with my upper range, is that I can sit on a note and I can get it, but just to push it and nail it, I can tap it. That's the other thing. I can hit it really lightly, but to go bam is something that I've had a real hard time doing with that. The Custom Reserve helps. I'm not saying it makes everything. It's not magic. We did not bring this down from, it's not the 11th commandment or anything like that. But boy, it helps. And this is something people go, why did you change? Why did you change stuff? Well, we've slowly been updating a lot of our mouthpieces through the past 12 years. And I feel like, I was like, wow, it's time that we could put this technology with what we can do with modern machining and coding here in the computer software. We could put this to your benefit. So that's where that came to be. The other thing I would say on the Custom Reserve line is play songs. Play songs. I think we'll get so deep into multiple facets of what we need to work on as a trumpet player. When you put a new mouthpiece that's wildly different than your current mouthpiece, you forget. You start trying to multitask and do 5 or 6 things at once. Work on some of these little technical exercises like the bends or the quick slurs or the real light articulation and then the precision attacks. Work on those separately and then go and play a song. Play something lyrical. It doesn't have to be, it could be a jazz standard. It can be a Snedeker lyrical etude. It can be a Charlier. It can have a tremendous amount of diversity. You don't have to do necessarily the same thing. But versus going right out and start playing Charlier 24, I would say, pump the brakes a little bit. Work on finding out what makes these mouthpieces really, really gel. Does anyone who's out there, and we have 31 people right now watching, does anyone have any questions or comments about these mouthpieces? Because I'm here to help you. Questions, comments, yeah buts. Maybe somebody out there. I'm going to post them. A little late to the part. No, I actually just mentioned this. In my Boston shop, I had a CNC. I had a 3-axis gang tool that with live tooling that I learned and cut maybe 1,000 mouthpieces on. But my value in our shop is not standing behind a machine and pressing the green button all day. My value in the shop is working with customers. We have actually a world class famous jazz musician in the back room that I'm going to be working with in just a few moments. But my value to the shop is having, working with artists, working with customers. Sorry, I've got someone knocking on the door. Hold on a second. Sorry about that. We just got 2 of the new Carol Brass Giuffretti trumpets in. One will be at ITG and one's for a customer. So great. Anybody who has specific technical questions about the mouthpieces, you could definitely reach out to us at this. Let me put this in for you. You can email us anytime with questions that you might have about this new Custom Reserve line. Just some basic premises on this line. Again, they're gold plate. They're only in this blank. And we only have a limited amount of sizes because we've actually tried here in the shop. I do have a hand lathe right behind. I actually have another hand lathe off to the side that you can't see. And I do a lot of my prototype testing on here. Yeah, the prices are at the Custom Reserve link. There's a link in the YouTube description. If you go on YouTube, you've just posted that question from YouTube. There's a link to the shop page with more information of the mouthpieces in that. I could show you, but I want to stay to this task. And I know Josh can't link that because he's not technically the owner of the YouTube channel, so he can't do it. Yeah, Josh, you can't do that on YouTube, however, but check the YouTube description. For the Facebook people, there's the link right there. We have an introductory price. The price will go up after ITG. I don't know exactly how much it will go up. I want to keep these as fair as possible, but this is very expensive. Gold plate is ridiculously expensive right now. And the project itself is costing us a lot of money. So we try to be as fair as we can to everybody. And I think people know that about what we do here at ACB. And we are also in the works, in case you want to try these, we are in the works of talking with one U.S. Dealer of ours. We're only going to offer it to one U.S. dealer. I can't announce who because they haven't signed on just yet. They are good friends of the shop. We'll just say it that way. And you'll be able to try them there as well, probably in July, maybe August, given our current backload of orders. So anyways, this is, again, I want to just play some more on this L3 Plus because I just love it so much. So, but you see that this is the smallest mouthpiece I make in this Custom Reserve. That this I can actually just play this mouthpiece. I don't need to switch mouthpieces. What the dream of all trumpet, I think, for me at least, the dream of being a trumpet player is not having to switch. Great question on YouTube. Any difference in endurance? I've played a bunch of stuff. I did a 6-hour recording session yesterday, and I felt fresher at the end than I did at the beginning. And I practiced a couple hours before I went to the recording session. So I feel like these are way more efficient. I think that came after a few weeks of testing, because the first gig I took, I will be perfectly honest, the first gig I took one of these mouthpieces on, I reached into my bag and grabbed my normal commercial mouthpiece. I couldn't play it because I was pushing it way over. So so there we go. Pete Carroll on. I'm gonna just post this comment. So let's see. I think I can do that. Hold on. I used to remember how to do this, but now I can't remember. So hold on. Blah, 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 blah. You know, technology is great when. Okay, let's see if this one will work. Oh, I keep hitting the wrong thing. There we go. Check this out. That's my buddy Pete Carroll, who plays with Al Green and is an incredible trumpet player here in Kansas City. That's his comment. So now he just literally, I don't know if you came to the shop on Saturday or something, Friday or Saturday. You only had the mouthpiece for a day or two. So there you go. You have to, though, when you get any new piece, understand that that is going to happen, that you're going to try to play it your other way. And you can't. You can't. You just got to let the mouthpiece start doing the work. Like I remind you, like would I play an excerpt on this mouthpiece? Here's Mahler 5 on the smallest mouthpiece I make. So check this out. Again, get that close. So smallest mouthpiece I make. Here's Mahler 5. So there you go. Sorry, spits free. Now, would I play that in a symphony orchestra? No. This is a lead trumpet mouthpiece, but you can, which is scary. So I got a couple questions here on YouTube. Let's bring them up. The only horn, that's a great question, and thank you for asking this. If you have a Shilky trumpet, you want to reach out to us because Shilkies tend to gap very differently than other trumpets. We are working on a Shilky specific trumpet mouthpiece. So if you have something like a Shilky, these will work still very well, but not as well as something like a Bach, Yamaha, Shires, Adams, Van Laar, other things. But Shilkies, they have a specific way they taper into the lead pipe. Great question. Jason Brewer, thank you so much for your, how does one determine what size to choose? Well, you can see there's a quick equivalency chart on our link. While these are totally different than all of our other mouthpieces, we do give you some quick references. For instance, if you played a TA2, the 2D plus would work. If you play a 3C, our 3 works. If you play a 3CS, our 4 plus works. Some are easier, like our TAZ, our our lead 125, and our TA1. You could just go to the actual equivalents. If you need something bigger than a 1.25, that might happen. Right now, we're not totally getting what we want on the largest sizes, so we haven't launched those. But we'll probably launch a few larger sizes in the next month or two. So, but a great question. Please, more questions that you have, we'd love to see them here. But we're really excited. It's just like if, say, you wanted to play a lead trumpet excerpt on the 2 plus. So, for instance, here's the 2 plus. This is the closest thing we have to the Mount Vernon 3C. And I'm going to play MacArthur Park. Again, this is where this stuff gets crazy. But you could do it. again, would I play MacArthur Park on basically a 2C sort or larger than 2C mouthpiece? No, but you can. That's the crazy thing about these mouthpieces. I know it sounds bizarre, but that's one of the things that we've really worked hard at, is to create efficiency in all the line, but also create diversity so you're not stuck with one sound. Yeah, we're really excited about it, as you can see. So, to sum this up, if you are at ITG next week, come and check them out. We're splitting a private room with Adams, and we also have tables in the main exhibit room. So we'll have pieces at both areas for you to check out. You can order them from us, and as soon as we line up our dealer information, we will let everybody know online where you can try those at outside of ACB. In the meantime, I got to go work with one of the world's best trumpet players who's in my back room. And I want to bid you all adieu and thank you so much for watching these videos. Hope you enjoyed it today. Hope it found it informative. And if you have any additional questions, please do not hesitate to reach out to us at info@austincustombrass.com. Take care, everybody. Talk to you soon. Cheers.